Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss on this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Sean, and he's selling his affiliate, Amazon Associates and display advertising business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Sean, and how are you doing today?
Thanks, Craig. Great to be here. I'm doing really well. Appreciate the opportunity.
Good to hear, and I'm looking forward to talking more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. So it's an affiliate, Amazon Associates and display advertising business in the home niche, created in November 2017. The average monthly revenue for the business is $17,642, and it makes an average of $17,300 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 49624 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. So we have the primary domain and all site content and files, 2 additional domains that are used, and one is used as a 301 redirect, an email list with 50 subscribers, SOPs, social media accounts for Facebook and Instagram, and affiliate contracts and relationships. Okay, Sean, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, I would say I'm a long-time technologist in general, and I've seen the internet grow and come into the spotlight from the very beginning. So during that whole evolution and businesses adopted the internet and just everyday things happen, I saw various opportunities over the years. So during that time, I've done a lot of different things that I've experimented with. I still run a digital marketing agency as well, where I offer some services to clients and things of that nature. And I've also sold products and services in online stores, whether they're Shopify or other outlets. I've done that as well. And most recently, I would say the last few years, I've really been focusing exclusively on affiliate marketing.
Okay, that's a really interesting background. Seems like you've got a variety of experience. So was anything you used from your experiences of having an online store and doing digital marketing that you applied to this business?
Yes, I think just in general, one of the key things, I'll jump right to it, is understanding the power of just organic traffic from search engines. That comes forward in the client work that I've done in my digital marketing, as well as other things as well, in terms of if you're trying to sell any types of products and services online. There's a variety of channels, of course, of how you can get the traffic that you need to run your business and get leads. But the organic traffic has always been something that's really critical in my view. And the experience, I think, over all those years and just understanding how these search algorithms work and what they're looking for and how you can attract traffic, that's been really important and just contributing to success in the affiliate marketing business model as well.
Yeah, looking at your traffic sort of trends for the business, it looks like you've just slowly and gradually risen, and then it's had quite a bit of growth in 2020. So I'll be interested to hear what sort of SEO strategies you employed on this business.
Yeah, it's interesting, Craig. Like you said, we've slowly grown up the number of just sessions and traffic that we're receiving. And it hasn't really been an astronomical increase. I would say in a lot of ways, 2020 was a very interesting year. For this particular business, I believe I did a lot of clever things when it came to the actual affiliate programs in analyzing how to best put the traffic that's coming in to the best use. And the best use obviously being converting, getting that conversion rate really high. And then also critically, not only to convert, but what is the best affiliate program to make sure to use for conversion to get the most profit and revenue come out. So if interested folks look at the business and look at the details involved, they'll see that the revenue really just shot up in the last 6-7 months. And a lot of that just wasn't because traffic increased, but it was making some really good decisions that turned out about better monetizing the traffic and understanding the different affiliate programs that are available, and then doing some testing and experimentation of, okay, well, if we send this traffic here and that traffic there, what's the best way to fine-tune things? So the SEO and getting more traffic, of course, is critical for sure, ranking for the right keywords. But then also equally, it's been very interesting this past year of plugging in the traffic in the right places to make sure that revenue really starts taking off.
Oh yeah, that's some great stuff to really make your business quite solid. So you mentioned affiliate marketing. How does this business primarily make money?
Sure. Yeah. Affiliate marketing is the monetization method. So we have actually a variety of affiliate partnerships that we use for all that traffic that I mentioned in terms of sending things here and there. Interestingly, I think most people who are aware of the industry will know that from an Amazon Associates program perspective, there were some sparks that flew in 2020 because they slashed a number of commission areas. I actually used that as an opportunity to just try to put some effort and just try to get creative about it of, where can I send traffic instead? So affiliate is the monetization method, but as I explained, it's also really great to get diversity. And that's exactly what I've done with this business, where literally, I think right now at last count, I have at least 12 different affiliate programs. And some of them are small, not huge, but I would say there is a very nice cross-section of 4 to 5 programs that are the main income producers per month. And thankfully, in my view, Amazon is actually not the majority slice of that monthly profit and revenue. They're certainly very prominent, but they're just a player like some of the other top players that I've been able to structure. So yeah, it's definitely affiliate marketing as the overall business model, but then also a variety of affiliate marketing programs just to get that diversity between them.
Okay, yeah, that's a very solid growth strategy that we always preach about here at Empire Flippers. So how come you chose the home niche for this business?
Yeah, this niche is very interesting. In general, how I have approached affiliate marketing businesses, one of the key things is to make sure the product or the market that you're involved in is stable, strong, offers plenty of opportunity for revenue throughout the year. And this particular business and niche, like most, has certain times when sales may be spectacularly good during the year. However, it also has an extremely steady and predictable stream of sales throughout the year that doesn't dry up at certain times and what have you. So that's very attractive. So besides being so-called evergreen in terms of lack of seasonality so much, it's also evergreen in my view of not being subject to fads or trends or other factors that may pose a future risk to the business. I just view it as just one of those fantastic niches where you're going to be happy with the stability and profitability of it. And speaking of profitability, there's always a balance between picking a niche that, for example, has a high volume of sales, but maybe the earnings from those sales isn't great because it's a low ticket item. This niche, in fact, has, in my view, a best of both worlds. It has a steady stream of, for example, consumables and other types of products that are always just going to be selling that are lower priced. And then also there's a very nice stream of income that comes in from high-priced items that, again, the volume isn't great, but it's just enough to actually make it very interesting. So I would be lying to say I knew all of the details when I got into it, but these are the types of things that I expected to see with this niche originally when I planned it out. And then it certainly, manifested itself very much like that, where the sales are a very nice mix. And as you can see from the revenue and profit per month, it just kind of comes together and builds a good picture.
Absolutely. I mean, it sounds like this business is firing on all cylinders at the moment. So I guess the natural question is, how come you're selling it?
Yeah, good question. This site was created just over 3 years ago, which to me is a fairly good period of time. I think around 2 to 3 years is always my goal with a small portfolio of sites and businesses that I grow. And yeah, I mean, the revenue per month is stable. It's excellent level. Very pleased with it. But in general, I would say it's just time to focus on other projects. One of the things that I think is important for anyone as a business person to realize is what their strengths and skills are and experiences. And for me, both in terms of skills and also in terms of where my interests are, I'm more of a startup guy. I'm more of growing things. For me, it's very exciting to build something, especially from the ground up, watch it grow, and just really get it to a good place. And so I think it's to have that humility, too, of just understanding, listen, there's a lot of things I could do with this business that I haven't done because I just have to recognize I don't have maybe the interest, the skill set, and the experience. And I can talk about, some of the opportunity areas going forward. But, realizing that I think I've fulfilled what I do best with this business, getting it to this level. And it has been, a good bit of time, 3 years now, that, it's just the right time to exit and just focus on other projects, which is really what I've been doing anyway for the last 6+ months. I've really haven't put, a huge amount of focus into this business, just realizing, I've done the sweet spot of what's in my power to do.
Okay, makes sense. So is there anything you learned from this business that you'll apply to your other sites and businesses?
Great question. I think you're constantly learning things for sure. I think I always learn from every project, and sometimes it's a general strategy, for example, how to do the content strategy, or maybe how to do the link building, what works, what types of links, things of that nature. Other times it's highly specific to the niche and like this business in particular, some of the things that I mentioned in terms of where traffic works best. And I guess the main thing is that making those decisions around the content or the affiliate programs that you use, and even with this particular site and business, the design of the site, the design of the homepage, there were some interesting things that I did that paid off. And again, I think the experimentation is key because there's not always a general thing that's going to work. So yeah, I would say there's a variety of things that hopefully one is always experimenting and learning in terms of what works, what doesn't work, that carries over, that you can try on future projects as well.
Yeah, it's some great insight. So was there anything that you tried with this business that didn't work out for you?
Yeah, I think one of the things was around the content strategy. I think I learned at a certain point that building a focus around a certain area of the niche and really focusing in and building it out was really important. And it going maybe too broad, because this particular niche is really interesting where there's a lot of adjacencies. There's a lot of opportunity to go wide and go horizontal. And I think it's all fair game and it's all very much in scope to the broader niche. But of course, you have to approach it in the right way to make sure Google stays happy and everything else. And that's some of the things I believe I learned during this was speed. What pace do you want to build out content and focus on a certain part of the niche? And then when is the time to move on to the other one, maybe a new one that you want to build out further? So there's some very specific detailed things like that you're learning as you experiment and try something and see if it doesn't work so well and then try something else.
Okay, so you mentioned that the majority of the site traffic comes from organic search. Do you do any other sort of marketing for the business?
There's virtually no other marketing that's currently done for the business. I mean, it's pretty normal for my business model, just really focusing on the organic search engine from Google. The only exception is some social media postings that are done just to ensure the business is healthy in terms of its branding, in terms of its presence on social media, and just overall looking like a good, solid, real, healthy business. So that has been something that's been focused on for at least a couple of years. Nothing large scale there. I think that's an opportunity area to really, go in and focus on social media. But so far, it's just been there just to help with the brand and the presence at a fundamental level.
So if you were to keep the business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
Sure. Yeah, as I described earlier, since I virtually do zero marketing right now, and the social media aspect is just bare minimum, that's an area where obviously there's a lot of folks that have great expertise in social media, whether it's just doing anything there in terms of engagement or doing a paid perspective to really try to do ads and gather the audience and have it really take off from there. So that's certainly, I think, an avenue that could easily be explored that hasn't really been touched at all by me. The other thing similarly is email marketing. And as we know, I mean, there's folks that have built empires just from, email marketing and list management and marketing to their list. And as we know, I mean, people have built virtual empires just from that. And again, I'm a little bit ashamed to say I've done very little there. I have started to build an email list. Again, very little focus there. There's probably around 50 to 55, and we get a very small stream of new subscribers. It's just not something I've focused on, both in terms of trying to get subscribers and then certainly doing anything with them. So I think that's another area that all sorts of best practices will tell you there's just a lot of gold there to be able to mine that further for the business. So those two for sure. Other areas of growth, I think more fundamentally speaking, in terms of the niche itself, I think I've explored it fairly well, and you can see that reflected in the revenue of the site, which is at a very nice level. However, because this niche has so many possibilities in terms of even going deeper or going broader in adjacent areas and products and even services, I think it's fair to say that I've maybe only scratched the surface in terms of really what's possible in terms of getting further revenue growth, getting further traffic, further keywords. Again, because my focus has started to go at other projects this past year in 2020, I haven't done a lot of research. And honestly, too, if I'm honest with myself, it's, having a site for 3 years and having a niche, it's a very interesting one and it's been great to work with, but you might lose a little bit of interest and maybe you're not as sharp as, somebody who's coming in with a fresh set of eyes. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, honestly speaking, from just someone coming in that might be excited about the niche and can have a lot of new ideas on how to approach it and different areas to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree that 100% that will be an exciting opportunity for someone who's coming in new to the niche and stuff like that. So if they were to come in and purchase business, what sort of work would they need to do on the site for maintenance?
Sure. I mean, that's one of the reasons myself and a lot of people, it's no secret, we get into affiliate marketing is that when you do your thing and you reach success, there's really very little that needs to be done. So from a technical perspective and, maintaining the site, there's very little required. I'm a longtime technology guy, so I've got some strengths there. In terms of setting up the hosting, having a good hosting provider, setting up the WordPress and the theme and the structure of the site, which I've done. Practically zero work required there in terms of maintenance. So when it comes to the actual running of the business, that's where, obviously decisions will need to be made. So if a new owner is coming in, do you want to maintain the site, enjoy the revenue that's coming in, or do you really want to publish new content? If that's the case, then, the usual things will need to take place. The keyword research, product research, what keywords do you want to rank for? What products do you really want to go after? And then perhaps some affiliate marketing program, tweaking you can do as well, just like I've done, find new ones, see what's working well, things of that nature. So that's all new, right? That's all net new things. So none of that is required for maintaining the site as is. There's very little maintenance or anything like that required. So it's just a matter of additional areas and growth that you would like to do. That's where I think the work would come from.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. And what do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, I mean, realistically speaking, since we are focusing on organic search traffic from the Google search engine, then, obviously it's critical to make sure that the site is healthy and doing well in Google's eyes. One of the things I've really focused on, for example, is the site speed, and then also how it's indexed, how it's structured. Some of that, I think, is just a foregone conclusion, obviously, because the site wouldn't be successful and those fundamental things weren't done really well. More to the point, we do know that Google search engine has updates to their algorithm and how things work and their coding throughout the year. And more significantly, there are some more important updates certain times or months of the year. And we've seen some of that in 2020. There was a May 1, a September 1, and a December 1, for example, and there were some others, of course. The good thing is, if you look at the history, and I'm sure interested buyers can take a look at the Google Analytics and everything else, even if we had some fluctuations after May and September and December, what's been really gratifying is that the site really gets great stability in terms of getting its traffic to where it needs to be and wants to be in terms of delivering the same type of revenue that we've been getting in. So just with any business, there are ups and downs, but then overall, if you look at what's been happening, I think it's been a pretty good track record that for me looks very stable and strong. But, obviously that's a risk area. The second one is monetization. I described, and most folks in the industry know in terms of Amazon associates and, slashing a lot of rates back in April or May of 2020. So that's, always something, the savvy business owner needs to stay mindful of as well as, okay, if I'm getting the traffic, what are the best ways for me to monetize it, to build diversity for myself and what have you. One of the things I didn't mention about this business, I think it's also very interesting and powerful, is that even if we fluctuate traffic, let's say after an algorithm, Google change, update, it didn't really matter much because what you'll notice, especially if someone has a serious interest in this business, they will see that the niche keywords that I have, they aren't about just product X or Y or Z. There is different areas. So even if one area of products, for example, might get impacted for a couple of weeks, there might be another area that does just as well or maybe even goes up. So that diversity has been also something that I've enjoyed quite a bit, is that if you do get impacted from one, let's say, ranking of keywords area, then there's actually, a handful of areas that the site makes money on. So that's been very interesting. So I think the risks like business are always there, but I feel like there's been some things that's been done for this business to help us weather some of those storms and also position it well going forward.
Absolutely, yeah. It really sounds like you've built up a solid business here that should last. So we've covered a lot of these points, but just to summarize, sort of putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
I think one of the fundamental things, Craig, is that the extreme profitability of the business, I view just personally very compelling. Very little expenses, especially relative to the income that comes in per month. It's virtually nothing in terms of the expenses compared to it. So that's very compelling. To have that kind of free cash flow obviously is very powerful. And, that diversity, again, that I mentioned, that's something I'm particularly proud of because I feel in this industry as affiliate marketers, one of the things that you worry about is that whole monetization. Of course, you worry about traffic coming in, especially if you're relying on, let's say, organic traffic or any type of sold traffic channel that you're expecting on. But, getting that diversity, both as I mentioned, the products, the keywords, and the rankings, so it's not just one thing that might get impacted, but you have a variety of things to balance things out. And then also, it doesn't matter if, let's say, a manufacturer goes out of business or they decide to reduce their commission rate or Amazon decides to do that. There's a lot of diversity with this business in terms of how that's been built, where it gives you a lot of confidence. I mean, of course, there's always risk that's going to remain in a business. That's just, the reality for us business people. But I believe that's very compelling in terms of the overall package of what's been put together for this business. So I feel that makes it very attractive for a buyer.
Absolutely, yeah, I would agree with all that 100%. So regarding the sale of the business, would you commit to a non-compete?
I would, yeah. Typically, as I mentioned, I don't want to say it really in terms of losing interest, but I like to stay excited about niches that I'm in. And typically, if I've seen something to maturity like this business and been working on it for a few years, then my business model, let's just go explore something completely new, something that's different. I got to go learn it. I got to get excited about it, what have you. So I have no problem with, just really abandoning this whole niche area. It shouldn't be any competition worries at all.
Absolutely. And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Happy to do the email support and Skype. And I'm also open-minded if the buyer has other things in mind. I view the business and the details as very straightforward, and I don't believe there's a lot for the buyer to learn per se. That said, if there's additional things they would like, I'm sure we can discuss that and negotiate if they would like anything special from a support perspective. I'm happy to discuss.
Okay, great. And are you open to negotiating something like an earn-out?
Yeah, I'm open-minded to that. I mean, I know it can look different ways and involve different things, so I'm certainly open-minded and willing to discuss ideas and offers along those lines, sure.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
No, I think I appreciate the question, Craig. I think we probably covered it very well. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity, and my experience with Empire Flippers so far has been really great. Super positive. It's my first time selling a business through you guys, but it's been great, and I appreciate the conversation here.
It's good stuff. Great to hear. Give some great answers and a lot of good insights for the buyers listening. So thank you very much for your time, Sean. It's been great talking to you.
My pleasure. Take care. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 49624. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description and go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.